Did you know that in the heart of the Ethiopian highlands, nearly 9 centuries ago, African engineers accomplished something that still humbles modern architects and engineers today? How could a people, without machines, without explosives, without modern technology, carve an entire sacred city from solid rock and get it right the first time? What if I told you that this city was not built upward, brick by brick, but carved downward from the living earth itself? Not assembled, not constructed, but released, as if the mountain already held these churches within it, waiting for African hands to set them free. This is Lalibela, and this is a story of African genius the world spent centuries trying to explain away. In the 12th century, while much of Europe was slowly erecting cathedrals stone by stone, King Lalibela of Ethiopia imagined something radically different. According to Ethiopian tradition, he was visited in a vision and commanded to build a new Jerusalem, one that would allow African Christians to worship without traveling across dangerous lands. But this Jerusalem would not rise above the earth. It would descend into it. What followed was one of the most daring engineering projects in human history. The craftsmen of Lalibela did not lay foundations. They carved them. They began at the surface and cut straight down into solid volcanic rock, removing thousands of tons of stone with iron chisels and unwavering precision. Every strike mattered. One mistake could collapse an entire structure. There were no repairs, no extra material, no second chances. Each church had to be perfect, because perfection was the only option. Imagine the discipline. Imagine the mathematics. Imagine the courage required to commit years of labor to a vision that could not be reversed. And from that mountain emerged 11 monumental churches. The most iconic is Bet Georgis, the Church of St. George. Carved in the shape of a perfect cross, it plunges 15 meters into the earth. Its symmetry is exact. Its windows align with breathtaking precision. When you stand above it, you don't see a building. You see absence shaped into meaning. A cathedral formed by what was removed, not what was added. But here is where the story deepens. Lalibela is not one church. It is 11, each distinct, yet spiritually and physically connected. Tunnels snake through the rock, linking sacred spaces in darkness and silence. Trenches form processional paths. The entire site functions as a single, unified act of worship carved into stone. The engineering is astonishing. Columns, arches, vaults, and domes emerge from continuous rock. Drainage systems still protect the churches after more than 850 years. The acoustics amplify prayer and chant, filling the chambers with sound that feels intentional, not accidental. So here is the question we must ask ourselves. Why is it so difficult for the world to accept that Africans engineered this? For generations, Lalibela's greatness was credited to everyone except the people who built it. Some claimed European knights were responsible. Others said angels worked through the night. Anything except African intelligence, African planning, African mastery. But the evidence tells the truth. The architecture follows Ethiopian traditions stretching back to Aksum. The inscriptions are written in Ge'ez, an African language. The symbolism reflects Ethiopian Orthodox Christianity, one of the oldest Christian traditions on earth. And the oral histories, passed from parent to child, priest to pilgrim, speak clearly of Ethiopian hands shaping Ethiopian stone. This was not borrowed genius. This was African genius. Lalibela stands as proof of what African civilizations achieved when vision, knowledge, and belief aligned. This was advanced engineering, executed with tools that seem impossibly simple today. It was intentional, calculated, and world-class. And Lalibela is not frozen in time. Every year during Gena, Ethiopian Christmas, tens of thousands of pilgrims return. They walk the same tunnels, they touch the same walls, they pray in spaces carved by their ancestors nearly a millennium ago. These are not ruins, these are living churches. UNESCO calls Lalibela one of the wonders of the world. But for Africans, it is something greater. It is memory made permanent. It is proof carved into stone. It is a reminder that African hands have shaped mountains and history. If this story stirred something in you, if it challenged what you were taught about Africa and the medieval world, then subscribe to this channel. These stories matter, and they deserve to be told fully, truthfully, and proudly. Lalibela was not magnificent in spite of being African. It was magnificent because it was African, rooted in a civilization that was building, writing, worshipping, and innovating, while others were still finding their footing. 9 centuries ago, African engineers looked at a mountain and saw cathedrals waiting to be revealed. They had the knowledge to free them, the skill to perfect them, and the faith to believe they would endure. They were right. Lalibela still stands, the churches still breathe, and the message remains unshaken. African history is not only a story of what was taken from us, it is also a story of what we built, what we imagined, and what we carved from the very bones of the earth.